declared the city secure. In the aftermath of arrests and executions, Hitler denounced a fellow liaison, Chalk Dufter, as a Soviet radical rabble-rouser. 15. Other testimony he gave to the military board of inquiry allowed them to root out other members of the military that had been infected with revolutionary fervor. 16. For his anti-communist views he was allowed to avoid discharge when his unit was disbanded in May 1919. 17. F. In June 1919, Hitler was moved to the demobilization office of the 2nd Infantry Regiment. Around this time a German military command released an edict that the army's main priority was to carry out, in conjunction with the police, stricter surveillance of the population, so that the ignition of any new unrest can be discovered and extinguished. 15. In May 1919, Karl May became commander of the 6th Battalion of the Guards Regiment in Munich, and from the 30th of May the head of the Education and Propaganda Department of the General Command von Oven and the Group Command No. 4, Department IB. In this capacity as head of the Intelligence Department, May recruited Hitler as an undercover agent in early June 1919. Under Captain May, national thinking courses were arranged at the Reichswehlergelegfeld near Augsburg, 18, with Hitler attending from 10 to the 19th of July. During this time Hitler so impressed May that assigned him to an anti-Bolshevik educational commando as one of 26 instructors in the summer of 1919. 19, 20, G.H. In July 1919, Hitler was appointed Verbindungsmann, intelligence agent, of an Aufklärungskommando, reconnaissance commando, of the Reichswehr, both to influence other soldiers and to infiltrate the German Workers' Party, DAP. The DAP had been formed by Anton Drexler, Karl Harrer and others, through amalgamation of other groups, on the 5th of January 1919 at a small gathering at the restaurant Fürstenfelder Hof in Munich. While he studied the activities of the DAP, Hitler became impressed with Drexler's anti-Semitic nationalist, anti-capitalist and anti-Marxist ideas. 21. Hitler's membership card for the German Workers' Party, DAP. During the 12th of September 1919 meeting, Hitler took umbrage with comments made by an audience member that were directed against Gottfried Feder, the speaker, a crank economist with whom Hitler was acquainted due to a lecture Feder delivered in an army education course. 20. J. The audience member, in Mein Kampf Hitler disparagingly referred to him as the professor, asserted that Bavaria should be wholly independent from Germany and should secede from Germany and unite with Austria to form a new South German nation. K. The volatile Hitler arose and scolded the man, eventually causing him to leave the meeting before its adjournment. 22. 23. Impressed with Hitler's oratory skills, Drexler encouraged him to join the DAP. On the orders of his homme superiors, Hitler applied to join the party. 24. Within a week, Hitler received a postcard stating he had officially been accepted as a member and he should come to a committee meeting to discuss it. Hitler attended the committee meeting held at the rundown Old Rosenbad Beer House. 25. Later Hitler wrote that joining the fledgling party was the most decisive resolve of my life. From here there was and could no turning back. I registered as a member of the German Workers' Party and received a provisional membership card with the number 7. 26. Normally, enlisted army personnel were not allowed to join political parties. However, in this case, Hitler had Captain May's permission to join the DAP. Further, Hitler was allowed to stay in the army and receive his weekly pay of 20 gold marks. 27. From early party membership to the Hofbrauhausmillie, November 1921. Otto Strasser, what is the program of the StP? Hitler, the program is not the question. The only question is power. Strasser, power is only the means of accomplishing the program. Hitler, these are the opinions of the intellectuals. We need power. 28. By early 1920, the DAP had grown to over 101 members and Hitler received his membership card as member number 555. The number started from 501. L. Hitler's considerable oratory and propaganda skills were appreciated by the party leadership. With the support of Anton Drexler, Hitler became chief of propaganda for the party in early 1920 and his actions began to transform the party. He organized their biggest meeting yet, of 2,000 people, on the 24th of February 1920 in the state-like Hofbrauhaus in München. 29. There Hitler announced the party's 25-point program, see National Socialist Program. 30. He also engineered the name change of the DAP to the National Sozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei instead. National Socialist German Workers' Party, later known to the rest of the world as the Nazi Party. M. 31. Hitler designed the party's banner of a swastika in a white circle on a red background. He was discharged from the army in March 1920 and began working full-time for the Nazi Party. 32. In 1920, a small hall protection squad was organized around Emil Maurice. 33. The group was first named the Order Troops, Ordnertruppen. Later in August 1921, Hitler redefined the group, which became known as the Gymnastic and Sports Division of the party, Turn- Sportabteilung. 34. By the autumn of 1921 the group was being called the Sturmabteilung, Storm Detachment, or SA, and by November 1921 the group was officially known by that name. 35. Also in 1920, Hitler began to lecture in Munich beer halls, particularly the Hofbrauhaus, Sternekerbrau and Bürgerbraukeller. Only Hitler was able to bring in the crowds for the party speeches and meetings. By this time, the police were already monitoring the speeches, and their own surviving records reveal that Hitler delivered lectures with titles such as Political Phenomenon, Jews and the Treaty of Versailles. At the end of the year, party membership was recorded at 2,000.36. In June 1921, while Hitler and Dietrich Eckart were on a fundraising trip to Berlin, a mutiny broke out within the Nazi Party in Munich, its organizational home. Members of its executive committee wanted to merge with the rival German Socialist Party, DSP. 37. Hitler returned to Munich on the 11th of July and angrily tendered his resignation. The committee members realized that the resignation of their leading public figure and speaker would mean the end of the party. 38. Hitler announced he would rejoin on the condition that Hugh would replace Drexler as party chairman and that the party headquarters would remain in Munich. 39. The committee agreed, and he rejoined the party on the 26th of July as member 3,680. 39. In the following days, Hitler spoke to several packed houses and defended himself, to thunderous applause. His strategy proved successful. At a general membership meeting, he was granted absolute powers as party chairman, with only nay vote cast. 40. On the 14th of September 1921, Hitler and a substantial number of some members and other Nazi Party adherents disrupted a meeting of the Bavarian League at the Lowenbraukeller. This federalist organization objected to the centralism of the Weimar Constitution but accepted its social program. The League was led by Otto Wallerstedt, an engineer whom Hitler regarded as my most dangerous opponent. One Nazi, Hermann Esser, climbed upon a chair and shouted that the Jews were to blame for the misfortunes of Bavaria, and the Nazis shouted demands that Wallerstedt yield the floor to Hitler. 41. The Nazis beat up Wallerstedt and shoved him off the stage into the audience. Hitler and Esser were arrested and Hitler commented notoriously to the police commissioner, "It's all right. We got what we wanted." Wallerstedt did not speak. 42. Less than 2 months later, The 4th of November, 1921, the Nazi Party held a large public meeting in the Munich Hofbrauhaus. After Hitler had spoken for some time, the meeting erupted into a melee in which a small company of SA defeated the opposition. 33. For his part in these events, Hitler was eventually sentenced in January 1922 to 3 months imprisonment for breach of the peace, but only spent a little over 1 month at Stadelheim prison in Munich. 43. From beer hall melee to beer hall coup d'etat. In 1922 and early 1923, Hitler and the Nazi Party formed 2 organizations that would grow to have huge significance. The first began as the Jungsturm Adolf Hitler and the Jugendbund Ernst. They would later become the Hitler Youth. 44, 45. The other was the Staff Guard, which in May 1923 was renamed the Struck Hitler, Shock Troop Hitler. 46. This early incarnation of a bodyguard unit for Hitler would later become the Schutzstaffel, SS. 47. Inspired by Benito Mussolini's March on Rome in 1922, Hitler decided that a coup d'etat was the proper strategy to seize control of the German government. In May 1923, small elements loyal to Hitler within the Reichswehr helped the SA to illegally procure a barracks and its weaponry, but the order to march never came, possibly because Hitler had been warned by Army General Otto von Lossow that he would be fired upon by Reichswehr troops if they attempted a putsch. 48. Defendants in the beer hall putsch. A pivotal moment came when Hitler led the beer hall putsch, an attempted coup d'etat on 8-9 November 1923. At the Bürgerbraukeller in Munich, Hitler and his deputies announced their plan. Bavarian government officials would be deposed, and Hitler installed at the head of government, with Munich then as a base camp from which to march on Berlin. Nearly 2,000 Nazi Party members proceeded to the Marienplatz in Munich's city center, where they were met by a police cordon summoned to obstruct them. 16 Nazi Party members and 4 police officers were killed in the ensuing violence. Hitler briefly escaped the city but was arrested on 11 November 1923, 49, and put on trial for high treason, which gained him widespread public attention. 50. The trial began in February 1924. Hitler endeavored to turn the tables and put democracy and the Weimar Republic on trial as traitors to the German people. Hitler was convicted and on the 1st of April sentenced to 5 years imprisonment at Landsberg prison. 51. He received friendly treatment from the guards. He had a room with a view of the river, wore a tie, had regular visitors to his chambers, was allowed mail from supporters and was permitted the use of a private secretary. Pardoned by the Bavarian Supreme Court, he was released from jail on the 20th of December, 1924, after serving just 9 months, against the state prosecutor's objections. 52. Hitler used the time in Landsberg prison to reconsider his political strategy and dictate the first volume of Mein Kampf, My Struggle, originally entitled 4.5 Years of Struggle Against Lies, Stupidity, and Cowardice, principally to his deputy Rudolf Hess. After the beer hall putsch, the Nazi Party was banned in Bavaria, but it participated in 1924's 2 elections by proxy as the National Socialist Freedom Movement. In the May 1924 German federal election, the party gained seats in the Reichstag, with 6.6%, 1,918,329, voting for the movement. In the December 1924 federal election, the National Socialist Freedom Movement, NSFB, combination of the Deutsche Freiheitspartei, DVFP, and the Nazi Party, NSDAP, lost 18 seats, only holding on to 14 seats, with 3%, 907,242, of the electorate voting for Hitler's party. The Barmat scandal was often used later in Nazi propaganda. both as an electoral strategy and as an appeal to antisemitism. 53. After some reflection, Hitler had determined that power was to be achieved not through revolution outside of the government, but rather through what he called the path of legality within the confines of the democratic system established by Weimar. 54. Move towards power. 1925-1930. In the May 1928 federal election, the Nazi Party achieved just 12 seats in the